Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Peg O'Connell and John Hood, after refusing to endorse legislation that would force North Carolina sheriffs to cooperate with ICE, the North Carolina Sheriff's Association has reversed itself and now says it supports House Bill 370 that would compel local law enforcement agencies to detain suspects being considered or being held in this country or being in this country illegally. Why did the association reverse itself, and was it the right thing to do, John?
I think it was the right thing to do. I think that it puts sheriffs in an awkward position when they refuse to enforce laws. We could debate whether the laws are a good idea. We obviously need a federal immigration reform. Even if you think, as I do, that we should make it easier for people to immigrate into America legally to get jobs and so forth, you have to accept the need to enforce some kind of immigration restrictions, particularly people who have, keep in mind, in this case, they've been arrested for other crimes, not necessarily convicted, but they've been picked up for other crimes. And I think that it was an untenable position for the sheriffs to be claiming, well, we shouldn't have to comply with this.
Well, it wasn't a law, as I understand it. It was actually a policy
no, but
that
what's now being proposed as a law.
I see. What's your stance on this?
Well, you know, Tom, I think I wish they hadn't done it, only because what they were getting was such severe legislative pressure to capitulate and endorse this issue. And there's so much of that arm twisting going on within the walls of the General Assembly that it's unfortunate when that happens. As far as the enforcement of the law, I mean, the large urban sheriffs have expressed that they're concerned that there's no judicial step, no magistrate involved in this. You have to hold them for 2 more days, and after they've served the time or they've set themselves out with bond, and that they could be opening themselves up to liabilities.
Well, these metro mayors seem to be inferring that, or implying, that this was being done in opposition to them because they're Democrats who got elected, and that it was a racial issue.
I thought that was preposterous and foolish for them to say that. This is a long-standing issue. It's been going on for years about whether the 287G or other kinds of arrangements where local law enforcement is involved in helping to enforce federal immigration laws. This has nothing to do with their race or their party. And I think to say that was foolish and counterproductive. It made them worse off. They have an argument. She just made the argument that there might be some legal liability, that of course the federal government can't require local officials. There's some rules about that. They have an argument about it. I'm not persuaded by it. What they did, unfortunately, is play the race card when it does not apply.
They did. The law originally, proposed law, originally they had to hold them for 96 hours. They did drop that back to 48, which was what the ICE requirement was. Is it going to pass?
You know, I don't know. That's I hope not, because what they're doing is they're actually criminalizing the sheriff's behavior, or almost criminalizing the sheriff's behavior
if they don't abide by it.
Right, because they add this to a list of things, you know, moral turpitude and theft, that a sheriff could be taken out of office for. You know, when the sheriff reports to the citizens of his county, he is duly, or she is duly elected by those people. If those people don't like what's going on, they'll elect another sheriff.
But just to be clear, sheriffs only have the power that the state gives them. That's it. We don't have a home rule system. They are elected.
Where every county has its own.
The state absolutely makes the rules for how sheriffs perform their duties.
So you're saying this is a legitimate legislation?
It is, and it is necessary if you believe in immigration reform, but you refuse to, in this case, people who've already been picked up for other crimes, and you're not going to try to deport them. That if we can't have that as an almost universal agreement, immigration reform will never happen, ever.
Interesting. Well, thank you all for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.